Are we rolling, ladies and gentlemen? All right, we're here with Mark Williams, 27 years old, been skating for 14 years now. He's from Maryland. This is part 2 of our interview. Last time we spoke was late September, and a lot of things have changed since then. Riot Skatepark has moved. We're in a new building now, and I'm out of my cast. Don't have a broken leg anymore. And now you have dreadlocks, so.
Yeah.
So first off, what do you think about our new place?
Man, it's like 5 times the size as the old one, so I'm really looking forward to how it's going to be turning out. I know your ideas already, so I know it'll turn out really good. And
yeah, we've talked a lot.
I'll be hyped to come back and shred it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because we're going to do a bunch of contests, so we'll definitely get you in here to do some stuff. Maybe you can judge or something, you know, or be part of it somehow, you know.
For sure.
Be kind of cool, because maybe by then, you know, you'll be done with the rest of the states, and you'll be able to have some free time and get out here and kind of promote yourself for your shop that you're wanting to do and all that, you know, maybe set up a booth or something. So how many more states do you have to go since we last spoke?
I've done 42, so I still say 51 DC, so I got 9. But I'm going to start with the new ones from the Dakotas, although I'm starting where I left off up north, because I did Detroit to Minneapolis. So Minnesota's already been a state, so it starts with the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, then Washington State. And then I'm pretty much having to choose from either Alaska or Hawaii after I reach Seattle. So I'm choosing Hawaii for now because expenses and just more connects, and it's Hawaii.
Well, man, if you go to Hawaii, you'll probably never leave, and you'll never get Alaska done. Because Hawaii's pretty. I've never been, but it's my friend Tyler's been, and he's just the way he talks about it, man. I got a friend named Chris out there. But if you do go to Hawaii, I mean, you will. But when you do go, someone just got here. Are you rolling? Oh, rudely interrupted. So anyways, I was talking about Hawaii. You said you're going to go to Hawaii. My friend Chris Kays, that used to live here for a while, is back in Hawaii where he's originally from. But his dad has like this hangar, and there's all these big wooden bowls, and it's just a really cool park and stuff. But if you get a chance to check him out, he's a really nice guy. His dad's an older vert skater, and he like built all the ramps out there and stuff. So how many miles have you skated since last we spoke?
I think, I was right around 6,000 mile marker, right at 6 months the last time I came through. So now I'm currently at the end of this month, 1 year and 2 months into documenting. And just over this past weekend with Ron Allen, I got to skate my 7,500 mile marker milestone with a legend.
Pretty insane.
So it was an awesome day.
Yeah, that was one of my questions later on. I'll find that out. Where did it go? Oh yeah, so tell us about, you got to skate with Ron Allen, and what was all that about? Like, was it a special event, or what was the deal with that?
So I got to skate with Ron Allen. He participated in what is called a 45-mile skate-a-thon. Jimmy Pervier out of DC, he's like a local legend to us.
Nice.
But he puts it together every year, about I think 4 or 5 years in a row now, and it's 45 miles just as quick as possible, and it's for Parkinson's disease research.
That's cool.
So there was this guy that has it, and he, had a very nice, touching story and speech before we got started. So really, really gave us motivation and inspired everybody.
Right.
And it was just an awesome day. Like, I grew up looking up to these guys in DC, 12 years old, 15 years ago. And now, like, they honored me by letting me lead the pack.
A lot of people don't know that he doesn't use like cruiser wheels or like a longboard or anything like that. It's just your basic normal wheels, bearings, trucks, nothing fancy, nothing going to help you out on bumpy roads, just a normal street deck.
And because of that, 6 different states have given me unskatable ground. It's like they throw rocks on the asphalt and I start walking.
All right, so Ron Allen. I actually met Ron Allen back in 1988 at a contest here in Louisville.
The year I'm born.
Yeah, the year he was born, 88 tattoo. It was called the Bluegrass Aggression Session. And
that's so sick.
There was a skater named Steve Stedham, and everyone always got him mixed up with Ron Allen because they both had dreadlocks. And on his grip tape it said, "No, I am not Steve Stedham." So I always remember that. It's pretty cool. But the guy's super nice. He's been to Louisville twice now. There was a place called the Skate Station he came and did a demo at. and the kid's dad who ran that was kind of peculiar, and him and Ron Allen kind of got into a beef, and Ron Allen was just like, man, this guy doesn't get it, you know, and like, I mean, it was pretty cool. The guy's got a lot of heart. The dude's in his 50s and still skates street.
Yeah.
He skated 45 miles with you, and he's 52 years old.
He was leading the pack
Who
with
else
us, too.
is going to be in their 50s and skate that much?
It really
I mean,
was.
there's a lot of older skaters, but most of them skate transition and stuff like that. It's a lot easier on your body.
20 years later, he redid the same trick.
Yeah, he went back and reenacted a bunch of spots that he did years before
That's
in
so
some old
sick.
H Street videos. Like, the guy's super cool, and it's really rad you got to meet him, man.
It was so rad, man. I kept telling him how sick it was to be doing this right beside with a legend, 7,500 mile marker, and he's just like, as hyped as you are on me, I am hyped on you.
Yeah,
and
that's how
that was
dude's
like
rad, man.
so insane to hear from
Because he
someone
gets it,
like
man.
him.
He knows what it's all about. Like, there was an interview with him, and he said people always ask him when he's going to stop skating, and his answer was, when are you going to start? You know, that was like, that just sums it all up, you know, like, dude, when are you going to start, man? Like,
Never too
quit
late
fucking
to start.
around and just really do something, you know,
Yeah.
like, use your full potential, you know, he's that kind of guy, so. All right, so besides the Riot family, have you hooked up with anyone else again, you know, on your travels? Have you seen anyone else a couple more times?
I got to, after I finished around here, I skated a new high. At the time, it was a new high before I got home. It was 121 miles. Now I outdid it 125.
125, like in one day
in
period?
one day, 24
one
hours
straight
time.
stretch.
Just take
Wow.
out break time.
Yeah,
So that last one was Philadelphia to Dewey Beach, Delaware.
that's awesome. Well, how'd you like Philly?
Philly's awesome. I always like going through Philly,
Yeah.
and I got friends there.
Nice. We were asking
Yeah, I
about people
did
you
get
hooked back up
support.
with.
That's where I was going with it. Like after the 121 Perryville to Ocean City, I ended up taking 2 weeks in the middle of October. It was for a best friend's wedding and then seeing family again. And then I took off the last week of October, and that's when I did the 125 Philadelphia to Dewey Beach. But that was skating Philadelphia to Virginia Beach. And then once I got to Virginia Beach, I got a bus down to Tampa for another contest. It was the Harvest Jam, November 2nd.
So these are like breaks in between the skates and stuff?
So I got to go there to enter another competition at Skatepark of Tampa, and every time I go there, they show support. They
nice
really
people.
like what I'm doing.
That's
and
cool.
Brian has even, when I was on my first big trip, 35 states, 4 months, 5,000 miles, this man sent me a package to Phoenix. It
That's
had
awesome.
shoes in it, clothes, wheels.
That's awesome.
So I'm blessed for all the skate shops
that's really
that always
cool,
help.
man. All right, so you got here yesterday, and I let you sleep here at the skate park. We had our little slumber party here. Some ramen noodles and soda.
Combo number 2.
Yeah, Riot's combo number 2. How'd you enjoy your mini ramp bed last night?
Hey, it was more comfortable than a bus.
Yeah.
I came in here middle of the night, ended up having to pass through New York City, got on a bus middle of the night, took like 14 hours, got to such a random place, Newburgh, if you guys know about it.
We know about Newburgh.
Brown Mackey College to here, I skated 11 miles into here. But that bed, hell of a lot more comfortable than a bus. So
I was like, all right, I got a blanket for you. I got a sleeping bag. We got some transition you can lay up on. So, yeah, talking about getting supplies and stuff like that, how many pairs of shoes have you been through since the last time we talked? And boards and wheels and bearings and trucks and et cetera and stuff like that.
I'd probably have to say the last time I was around, it was probably anywhere from like 7 to 10 pairs. Now I'd say like all year it's been about 15 pairs.
15 pairs.
And I'm still rocking the Airspeeds.
Airspeed, let's sponsor this guy. Come on.
I call it my certination. Besides my own sponsor with my company CRT Skateboards, my certination, my support, they help me get my products, and I'm just blessed for everything I receive. It was perfect timing. Someone that I was teaching lessons to bought me trucks. My mom was even part of it. She bought me these last Airspeeds.
There you go.
And someone at the Skateathon brought me bearings. And I finally got to set up my own boards, this is bamboo on the top and the bottom, and the 5 plies in the middle
Save
are
the trees.
Canadian maple.
He's very earthy, saves the trees. He's got dreadlocks now too. So.
And these are like guaranteed not to break. No one has ever snapped one.
Really? That's awesome.
I'm about to start selling them like that.
Start breaking them. But
You just can't bring it stomped out. It's got to like be shown by skating, which just doesn't happen.
What type of trucks do you prefer?
Independence, always.
They lasting pretty good on you?
I had a pair that lasted me exactly a year. I set them up when I was on that first trip since I started documenting the 35 states one, down at right before the spring roll contest started, April 27th of last year. So those things at least saw 6,000 miles out of those 7,500 that I'm at now.
That's not only just like regular skateboarding on ledges and stuff, like grinding, it's a lot of vibrations on rough, bouncy, crappy roads, constant.
The cracks,
like,
the potholes.
Yeah.
They even call them frost heaves when I was dealing with the winters up in like the Vermont and Maine areas. These are just some Plan B hard wheels. I tried soft, but I didn't like how the soft made me like feel like I was sinking into the ground. Just had to push more. Hard, I can just kind of get it better. But these started at like 58s. And I remember I set them up before I came and saw you guys the first time. So these started September 1st, and they went all the way from Detroit to Minneapolis, and then everything since.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to try to get them to ride a whole year up until September, so I can say they did a whole year of miles. Like,
that's pretty awesome.
They're probably down to 48s now, but they're still holding strong. And I just put some new bearings up in there. My friend William from back home hooked me up.
So besides shoes, you just going through bearings and wheels mostly?
I always say boards, bearings, and shoes are the most.
Really? Your boards before your okay.
Yeah, boards before wheels, I guess.
Well, not only
just because the rain even too.
Yeah.
Are we rolling again? How's the weather been on this route so far, like since last we spoke?
I mean, those last two highs I told you about, the 121 and 125, I was in rain. It was like the exact same days. So it ended up being I was in rain the first 12 hours of each of those. So the last 12 hours of each of those, I had to haul ass to make sure that I would outdo myself. So the first one, and it's the most I've ever done in 12 hours, was 78 miles from Smyrna, Delaware to Ocean City.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Soggy
Well, no,
board.
it was after it got cleared.
Yeah.
So it dried up, and I was able to haul ass. But yeah, my board was all soaked, my bearings all, rained out. But I hauled ass and did 78 in 12 hours. That's why I still think and believe that I could outdo the 125, because if a whole day went good for me, mathematically that was 156.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia to Ocean City will be 143, and I'm going to be satisfied with that. That will probably be my last new high.
Yeah, that's gotta suck, man, skating through the weather. Do you have a poncho or anything? Do you
I
wear?
got a raincoat, I got a trash bag that fits over my whole book bag.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Take that.
and then everything in my pockets I have sandwich bags for.
like your phone, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
I noticed you're still wearing the reflective strips. That's
I
good.
am. I had to get this new one. This one came off of a cone that was chilling in a pothole. I guess so it was seen at night. And it actually became a funny story because this Indian guy was across the street and he's all hollering at me, "Put it back." And I'm just like, no, I need it more. Like, I skate distance at night through
worry
this
about your
country.
cone,
I
worry
tried
about my
telling him
body.
about what I did, but he didn't want to hear it and
Yeah.
just kept saying, "Put it back."
He was gone. Those are giggles from our cameraman, Alex Schreck over there.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's how we found out about you. Alex
Yeah.
started following you on Instagram.
It was
and then,
so sick. This man followed me, had to have been on my first trip.
Oh, man, step in the camera shot. Get a little Shrek in there.
And he said, "Hey,
This is
you in
Alex."
Louisville?" So he asked me to come through to
Behind the
Floyd's
scenes.
first warehouse before this one.
Yeah.
Well, really, it was this one, then that one, then
Yeah,
back
exactly.
to
He
here.
knows this backstory now.
But yeah, it worked out perfect. I was staying at the red carpet, which was still really close to
Oh, yeah,
either warehouse.
John Morgan and
Yeah, Jake.
Jake.
Yeah.
I'm not for sure. I don't think I've met
And
Jake.
Jake's girlfriend, they came through and fed me at Waffle House.
Yeah.
Got
you
my
a place to
hotel
stay,
for
got
the
you a
night.
hotel.
Kentucky's awesome.
Big ups to them. Southern hospitality.
Badass.
Well, tell us about, then you have a foot injury on
I
this trip?
did.
And
I'm still wearing a brace. Like, nothing serious, but it just
so did you
keeps
do
it
this just
from
pushing
spreading.
distances or skateboarding?
Nah, this
Just
was like actual skating.
skating.
Still be cracking. So my ankle got huge. Right away, a ball and kind of like indented. And I never go to the doctor, no insurance. But I had to go for x-rays just to check it out.
Yeah.
I thought I broke it. Couldn't put no pressure on it. Just, I don't know. I had to get x-rays. but it was just severely sprained.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop being on it because I teach skate lessons.
Yeah. I know what
So
you
the
mean.
second day, I was dangling my foot. I couldn't put any pressure on it. I actually pushed 2 miles with 2 crutches.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
with
ask you
one
about
footed.
I saw you.
I was like, fuck it, this will make a good post.
I saw you on Instagram.
6 weeks went by and I was finally doing switch flips and switch frontside
There you
flips
go.
again and all the ledge tricks. So I'm happy to have it back, and
Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
back to normal.
Yeah, I'm used to all the ankles, man. I've broken this one twice and this one once, torn everything in them.
And
I
now
still-
look
I
at that
still-
swollen knee.
I know, and I got a giant swollen knee. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Yeah, because we were going to skate
We
from
were.
Louisville to Lexington, and that was going to be our 100 miles because I told him once I got my cast off that I'd skate 100 miles with him. And then now I got a giant swollen knee and I can't even walk, so I don't know. I'm a freaking broken down old man, I guess. What else are you traveling with stuff? You have a backpack full of equipment?
Yeah,
or what do you-
and this time around I'm cutting out hotels for expenses, and like the money that I will raise on this upcoming, I call it remaining states trip, the Minneapolis to Seattle, that money that I'll be raising, I won't be having to use it for expenses for the hotels.
Yeah.
Got my tent, it's like in the back zipper of that area in the book bag, and it fits perfect, just fold it up, a couple poles and stakes, and
There you
I
go.
mean, it's all I really need, you know?
That'd be awesome. Watch out for wild boars. There's like little pigs that run around everywhere.
Oh, shit.
Apparently they just run, jump off a cliff. They don't even realize. They're like, ah! Little pigs. Okay, rocking chair guy. Don't break the rocking chair. My mother rocked me in that when I was a child.
And got breastfeed.
And I got breastfed up in that motherfucker. So anyways, the whole purpose to this entire trip, well, not the only purpose, but one of the main purposes is for you to start your own skate shop / pizza shop, right?
Yeah.
So other than, getting exposure by skating across the United States and people, funding you on like, what is it,
GoFundMe.com,
thing,
yeah.
you can find that on his Instagram page, information on that. But other than that, anything else you've been doing to try to prepare for this, or?
Definitely. Like, now that I've been on 3 trips and this is about to be my 4th since started documenting. I did go on training trips. That's why I always say, like, since I started documenting.
Yeah.
But it takes a whole lot of other work. But fortunately, the only other work that I had to do all year since I've been home, since the Thanksgiving, I worked at a Christmas tree lot for 3 weeks before
I
Christmas.
saw that going back and forth to
Yeah,
work every day.
And that actually worked out just perfect time, and everything went really good. I made like $2,000 in 3 weeks because
There you go.
tips are just really good that time of year. But besides that, between my trips and then now being back home, I got my boards again and I started selling those because for that whole year and a half and preparing beforehand for these trips, I couldn't sell boards because all my funds were going to funding these trips.
Right, so you
So I didn't have them for a whole year and a half. Once I got back home, I had some downtime. I was able to get my boards going again. And then once the weather warmed up, it started end of January, but you guys probably had it too. Every single weekend in February was snow.
Yeah, we got.
So I couldn't get
decent
no
snow.
lessons in February, and I picked them back up in March.
Yeah.
But that's GoSkate.com. I typically just teach kids how to skate. Sometimes it's older people too, just whoever.
Where can people find your boards to buy?
I have an Instagram for CRT Skateboards _, and then like normally I sell them just locally in my DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, for $30 with grip. But I have told people, and I do have another GoFundMe. That's the link in the bio of the CRT Skateboards Instagram, and that way I can ship them out for $40 with
Yeah,
grip.
there you go. So that includes the shipping also?
Exactly,
There you
yep.
go.
So like if anybody hits that GoFundMe and wants me to ship, then just hit the GoFundMe, put the money there, and then just give me an address and I could ship them out.
There you go. So are the bamboo boards more expensive than the regular boards that you have?
No, they're actually not, because I customized designed these, and this is actually how I started my company 10 years ago. I taped the whole board, and then after it's all taped up, I Sharpie out a design. Typically, I put a big C, and the first one was a big D, and have it say certified across. This one I customized for myself, and I had it say CRT Skates, because that's the saying for my company and for my trips, which I now have that standing for. Skates is Skates Keenly Anywhere Through Every State. And CRT stands for Certified Respected Talent.
Cool.
But since I get these at the price I do and I have to design them myself, I'm still able to sell them $30 with grip.
There you go.
And the 100% Canadian maple ones are the ones that I'm able to get the graphic on that, like, I've showed you pictures of, and you were saying that, you know, if anyone ever wants one here in Louisville, that you would have them in stock.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, like, I like the wood I use because nobody else that I really know or company-wise uses the same distribution I use. And I feel like it's such a good product at such a good price, and that's why I just keep it at $30 with grip rather than trying to get the 40.
All right, well, earlier I posted some stuff on Instagram about your interview, and if anyone had any questions to ask you, to put some questions on here, and you did the same, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through here and see what questions we have from our followers on Riot's Instagram.
We got some good ones.
It says Back to the Future on his grip. There's a spray paint grip right there. So I said, this is Mark Williams' board. He has been skating across the U.S. I'll be doing a part 2 interview with him today. If anyone has questions for him, put them on this pic and I'll ask him. This interview is about to start in 20 minutes. Let's get some questions ASAP. So, what are all the states he has traveled through, and what was your favorite?
I traveled through 42 states so far. So instead of naming all those, the ones that are left is Minneapolis to Seattle, then Alaska and Hawaii. So with what I've been to already, my favorite has been Colorado for sure. People there are just so humble, so friendly, good laws. Yeah. And I just had a great time. I got to visit a lot of friends that I grew up with that I didn't see for years. So I had a really good time there. And I actually got to stay for free in the whole state, which was a big state because I came in through the Four Corners and had to head north to Denver that way. And then even the other top of the corner, top northeast corner of Colorado is where I left. But yeah, the only other time that I had to like pay for a discounted hotel, I paid with donations, so it was still free. So that whole state was free. It was awesome.
All right, we got another one from hot_tubbing, which is our buddy Tyler Everett. On a scale from 1 to 10, how horny are you?
I'd have to say when I started, I went from a 4-year relationship, you know, living with your best friend, to completely alone in every single part of the country and every single part of the state. So that was like 11. But now as I've gotten more used to this, I guess the best way to describe it is it's like the cold. Yeah. You get used to it, but it still sucks. So I guess now I'm just focusing on what I'm after, and it's about at like a 5. All right, the girls will come when they come. Yeah. Oh, that's another I'm trying to get what I'm getting.
That's another question that I asked you in the first interview is, have you been laid on your travels? Yeah. Has it happened this time?
Nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about. All right. All right. Ladies, maybe you can help him out. He'll be coming to your state soon. He's got hoes in different area codes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we have another Instagram question. This one is from Cow Rules Nigga. What's the craziest experience you've had while doing all of this?
I always have to just go back to the same day because it's not my most mileage day, but it's my most intense day, and still nothing has topped it. Maybe never will, unless I skate down another canyon, which was Salt River Canyon Day in Arizona, and it goes Show Low, Arizona to Globe, Arizona. And it was 5% steepness down and 5% steepness up. So the 5% steepness up zigzags for 10 miles, and I got down by nightfall, but I had to walk up those 10 miles for about 4 to 5 hours from like 9 at night till like 1 or 2 in the morning. Right. And that whole day consisted of 73 miles skated out of the 87, and I went from 10:30 in the morning till 6:30 in the morning.
I guess that answers your question, Kyle. We have a question from CB Skateboarding. How many crazy people do you see on the road?
It does happen, but I always say that I go with my vibes and kind of being able to just read the people to know who you can and can't accept help in situations, or even just spread your story and share what you do with. So a good example for that was the outskirts of Baltimore, and it was actually after I left here and got that new high. So it was Perryville to Ocean City route. So I'm leaving Perryville, and it's just like a strip of like the outskirts of Baltimore before you get into Delaware. And this strip on Route 40 is nothing but like strip clubs. So of course I get a pimp and a hoe stop for me in the middle of the night. And nobody ever stops for you in the middle of the night. It's just a really rare occasion. So they stopped and they're asking me if I wanted a ride or something. And I'm like, even if I was in a desperate situation and needed help, like thunderstorm or that rough ground, whatever it would be, I wouldn't accept help from that motherfucker. So this shit went down and happened. And so then they're asking if I needed any help or a ride. And I'm like, no, this is what I do. Like, keep going. And then they're about to drive off and they stop one more time. And she pokes her head out the window and says, well, can I give you a BJ? And I'm like, no, go! And I just got rid of her like as quick as possible and kept on with what I was doing.
Can I suck your dick?
All right, so we have another one. This is from El Franco. Been following him for a while now. All I want to know is why, and are skateboarders different in each state, in each other state, or each state?
I appreciate you following me for a while. I always appreciate my support, and I do notice it, so thank you. Starting that off. El Franco. But I'd have to say that, yeah, it's for a lot of different reasons. Number one cause is I spread the Lord, and I've been saved in different situations. And I believe if I wasn't doing what I was doing, then I could have died in one of those situations, and I wouldn't have been provided something safer in a bad situation. And then I'm after a skate shop, pizza shop. So how I state it is I collect donations, accepting donations, helping raise money for the skate shop, pizza shop. And a portion I've been putting away for a friend's sister. She fights with stage 3 ovarian cancer.
Oh, shit,
And then I'm told that I give a lot of inspiration to a generation that I believe needs it and that lacks hard work.
Definitely.
And I show hard work, and I show that you can do something independently. Like, I sponsor myself, and I came up with this concept myself, and it takes a lot of other work, but I'm not giving up, you know, my trips and my distance and my goals. And I say over time I'll reach all my set goals.
Best handrail trick?
I'm not too good at rails, but I did almost switch feeble back to switch down an 8-stair rail. I would still love to go back to that. Yeah.
8 stairs?
Yep.
Where was that rail at?
In Bethesda, Maryland. It's called our French rail. But if I get back to that spot, I also want to switch flip, switch board it. Nice. Hopefully back to switch too, because it's just better.
Ralphie's here. He wants to ask you a question. How many cool dogs have you met on your trips?
It is pretty damn cool when I have a country dog like running with me while I'm skating.
That's awesome.
So that shit happened in Georgia once, and he followed me for like 5 miles.
Wow.
But he had bugs flying all over him and shit. I kind of felt bad for him.
He was like, hey, give me a chicken nugget.
And he looked so thirsty. I tried giving him water, but he didn't really like accept it.
Instagram question from Black Sabotage. Ralphie, go lay down. Ask him if his favorite band is Fozzy. Is this someone you know?
Yeah, that's like my best friend right there, Dustin Jones. Shout out Dustin Manny Jones. This man can manual longer or just as long as this man right here, Floyd, that holds the record. You guys are gonna have a competition one day. But Fozzy's not my favorite band. I needed to get that clear, and it's Black Sabbath.
All right. In his opinion, which state is the asshole of this fine country?
Right after the best state, Colorado, which would be Kansas. Would have to be the asshole of the
This is
state.
the asshole of the state. What
Not
happened there?
necessarily the people,
Uh-huh.
but just the experience I ended up having to go through on one day, and that how people just never seen a skater go through those parts of the country, so they
Yeah.
just like looked at me pretty funny. But I got escorted through 5 different counties, through 5 different cop cars that were kept calling ahead to county line,
Oh,
line,
my God.
and I
'Cause
would
they
get
knew you
in
were
different
coming.
counties because they just didn't want me skating in their county.
Welcome to the Killing Floor has a question for you. Favorite random place you have had some bomb-ass food that isn't a chain restaurant?
Kansas City, Kansas, which was like a dead city. It's just Kansas. I
Yeah.
guess that might be why.
A lot
But
of flat ground there.
I got into Kansas City, Missouri, and that was actually like a cooler town and all in city. But as soon as I crossed the state line, I just randomly went into this like looked like a hole in the wall bar, and I actually had like my favorite breakfast there. It was just some eggs and corned beef, but it was on point and all homemade.
Nice, yeah. Jason Seigwiz?
We just say sh.
Yeah, okay. Say something about Open Road and Jamie's channel, bro. Little hands, praying hands. So what's this
Open Road is the video that I'll be featured in that's going to be coming out in 2016. And while I was home in Thanksgiving up until now, I had the pleasure to film with this guy, Jamie Lorton. And that's his YouTube channel, or his Instagram is That's Jamie Son. So that's Jamieson. And yeah, this guy has became my new filmer. I came back home and my old filmer and practically like my old crew and the old heads that I used to skate with just stopped involving me, and I got tired of it, and I just needed a group or a crew and a filmer to keep getting stuff going for me, and I was just blessed to find these guys. I really like skating with them and filming with them, and I'm glad that I'm a part of the video.
Cool.
And I got my ender before I left, but I'll just say that it was down to 11 stair and it was switch, so.
So where to after this? After Louisville, Kentucky, where are you heading to after that?
Unfortunately, since we can't do our skate, I'll be cutting out that stop, which is fine because now I've located and figured out that I'll skate from here to downtown Louisville, which is about 10, 11 miles, and then I found this bus that I can get to South Bend, Indiana, which is just south of where my next stop is, Cassopolis, Michigan. And this is a family that got me out of a thunderstorm, and they invited me back for a event / party.
Nice.
And, you know, just to see each other again and stuff.
That's cool.
But, yeah, it's cool that I'm going out there. And I have people in the surrounding areas in Michigan to where, like, that Welcome to the Killing Floor guy, Cam, that's his name. I'm going to be meeting him. And that's, like, how I met Alex. Like, this man's been following me for so long, been supporting. Last time I went through, I was too south and we just couldn't link. But this time we're, you know, making a plan to link and hang out. So it'll be cool to see him. And then I got some other people that are possibly going to come through.
All right. So how can people follow your progress, and like donate to you and stuff like that?
On each trip I go on, I start a new GoFundMe page, which is always the link to my bio on my Instagram. And then I share that on Facebook also. And that has a paragraph on like full out details on each trip and more about what I do.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is MARK, Mark, CRT, and then Williams.
Cool. So that's how they can do it. All right, what have you learned so far in all these travels? Have you learned, any knowledge and stuff?
I have learned a whole lot because you're just alone a lot, and all you do is just think about like what life really is and all about. And the best way to put it, and the most important miles that I've done to this day, 2 weeks ago I went to visit my nanny, my last and closest grandma. She passed away. It'll be 6 years in November. This was the first time that I got to go see her gravesite. I missed my third opportunity to see her that September that she was passing. I got to see her twice in the summer, and I was planning on going one more time, and I told her, and I wanted it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know when I was in New York City in September, that it was gonna be my last chance. And I had this girl that broke up with me. I said my mind was screwed up, just wasn't thinking right, and I made like the worst decision of my life. And I went to Boston, visited a friend instead of having my mom pick me up in the city because she was going to see my nanny. But this felt like my third time with her.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of closure, I think, for myself.
That's
And the biggest message that I got over that weekend was just live life for what it is, which is a blessing.
Yeah. Question.
I'd like to thank you guys again, Riot Skate Shop, Floyd, Alex, Tyler, Hot Tubbin. You guys are all awesome. Kentucky always shows me so much support. To show my thanks to my Certain Nation, my support, I came up with this thing. It will be called SOTD, Supporter of the Day. And I won't see them all, the likes and all, throughout the whole day, but I'll just go through at the end of the day, and whoever I see the most, I'll shout out and thank for just continuing to show that support.
Cool.
But it's always skate shops, skaters, and I guess some soners and families are the ones that help the most.
Yeah.
You guys are all awesome.
That's the way. It's usually the underdogs that kind of help out more.
Yeah.
People than the people who got a bunch of money. You know, they kind of
Exactly. It's the
kinda hang
people
on.
that you can tell has worked hard for what
Yeah.
they have or what they want.
People can
Like you,
appreciate
for
it.
instance, you know, you're moving into this big warehouse and you had to upgrade. Louisville Skate Park downtown just upgraded.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a lot of competition in this skateboarding industry, and it's similar to like a music industry if you're in that. So we all got to help each other.
Yeah.
Skaters for
Definitely.
skaters.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Ralphie wants to be part of this interview. Get down. Stop. But that concludes the part 2 interview. Hopefully we'll get to hook up with you on a third time. Once by
Sure.
the end of the year, I'll have this place up and running, and we'll do some contests and get you out here. You know, maybe you'll still have some states left by then. Ralphie, stop. But you'll be able to find this interview and the first interview on the YouTube channel. The link is in Riot Skatepark's Instagram bio at the top. So, all right,
Sweet.
man. Great seeing you again.
You too.
Ralphie. Oh, watch the knee. Get down. Oh my God. That's so insane. Yay. Interview number 2. Now it's time to get back and work on some ramps. Platforms. Consolidated wall. Eek. Oh, my knee hurts so bad.
Yeah, man, I really wanted to do that 100 miles.
You still up for it?
Yeah, right now. Tyler's on that.
Get them
the other
crutches
day.
out.
I know, dude. God, my knee would be this big, man. Oh! Gigantor.
How horny on you? Scale between 1 to 10.
I was like, I started out at 11
Yeah, he's like,
when
so
I first started. I had a 4-year relationship, and that shit ended. And then I went to being completely alone.
Behind the scenes of the interview here. Ralphie loves being part
But
of
now
everything.
it's more like a 5. I've gotten more used to it.
Hot tubbing, baby.
It's like